All right, guys and gals, this is day 2 of the KX125 project. Yesterday, I basically tore the bike completely down except for a few things, and today I took some time just to go over really what I had. So, if you followed the video part 1, the bike was together. This is a 94 KX125. I think I might have said 250 a minute ago. I meant to say 125. I've taken pretty much everything apart. Looks like a war zone in here. My box of miscellaneous parts, air box, radiators. So the thing here is that the guy that owned it previous really did everything he could to make it ugly, and I'm not really sure why. So yeah, those are baby blue radiators, and that's a tan radiator hose along with a chain guide, which don't even belong on the bike. It's not the right one. What I also found out is I had a Suzuki RM250 rear shock, so that was really nice. I got a blown up piston there, or basically a destroyed piston. Forks seem to be okay. Almost always the swing arm is just full of grease and oil, and everything's come off the chain. This one's no different. The bear on these things is if it's a Honda, getting the bolt out of the pivot. On the rest of them is these chain guide bolts or screws, or Phillips head screws. And I can assure you, if there was a Phillips head screw on this bike, it was stripped. So did a fine job of painting the wheels and the tires. And same here, so I don't know. We'll see what we can do with that. I don't know what that's going to be. So, seat, and then the box of parts that came along with it. Now, one of the interesting things that I noticed was that the guy that I purchased it from told me that they had worked on the bottom end. And they also sent the top end to Millennial Technologies, and so I felt pretty good that they at least did the top end. He had the crank rebuilt by someone, I don't know who, in Texas. He says it's a motorcycle crank rebuilder. Not sure. I might have to kind of check that out. I'm not sure who that would be. But it's OEM. It feels great. Crank feels good. The internals feel good, gears feel good, bottom end feels great. The problem that I found was, and I've got it all over here on the table, a bit of a mess, is that I could hear something clicking when I turned it over. And that little spring right there was on there the wrong way, and it was making contact with this idler gear. So I figured that out. It took me a minute to figure out what in the world was making that noise. The previous owner also split the cases. I don't really see anything that's too bad as far as what he did. It's probably going to be okay. A few little dings on the case here, and a couple up here. But the big problem, somebody along the way always gets the old JB weld to it. So here we have, looks like the chain probably came off, busted right through the spot where that clutch pivot arm goes. So that's a problem, and I am going to have to figure out what I want to do there. And really, there's only one solution. And that solution is to find a new left side case. Split the cases, put that on. So that's probably what I'll do. Now, the idea with this bike was to build on a budget. And unfortunately, I don't know what it is about Kawasaki's, but it is hard to find one that somebody hasn't about near destroyed. I've had 3 of them, and this is the only one that I might be able to rebuild. The other 2 were in such bad shape I parted them out. And I'm on the fence on this one, but there's just enough here to make it right. So in order to build on a budget, I can't make it look like the Honda and probably not the Yamaha, but I can get pretty close. So I'm going to do some things to see how I can do the on my own with as far as just cleaning up the current parts. I can restore plastic. It's just time consuming. I usually will restore a tank and then buy new fenders. I want to see if I can restore the majority of the plastics on this one. I'm probably going to sandblast, or I've got a soda blaster that I'll use on these radiators. I don't believe they leak. I just think they're ugly. And I'm going to use that. Now also, interestingly enough, we went with some kind of dark red paint. This video doesn't do it justice. It's a dark red. It's not even Honda red. It's ugly red. Painted the fuel tank cap with some kind of tan paint. Almost looks like house paint. I think he brushed it on. And then he also told me that he did a lot of work on this frame and sandblasted it and made it look really nice. And that may be true, because it is painted. Not great, but it is painted. I considered leaving it, but I think I'm going to, I don't know what I want to do. But look at this. That's sand from the sandblaster. He left the steering stem on, so that right there is a big old mess. So it's always good to take these things apart. When someone tells me things they've done to them and it looks this rough, I just cringe every time they say one other thing, because it's I'd rather not even know, honestly. But I'm going to take it apart anyway. So saving these bad boys one bike at a time. We'll see what we can do here. Next video, which I guess will be part 3, will be of the either cleaning the parts, refinishing, getting some things back together. So there you have it. Talk to you soon.